You're listening to the Jōrni podcast. Can science and spirituality work together to support our overall health and well-being? Today's episode features an incredible guest who shares her personal journey to holistic healing through a scientific spiritual approach. This episode contains adult subject matter, and some listeners may be triggered by this content. Listener discretion is advised. Hi, I'm Petra Brunbauer, and with decades of experience with sadness, pain, anxiety, and stress, I finally figured out how to leave all that behind. And this podcast shows you how to break free permanently so you can reclaim your sanity and find the self-esteem and energy to go after the life you desire. With real talk about mental health, holistic healing, and the tough journey of coming out the other end. This is the Jōrni podcast. Welcome to today's episode. Holistic healing is a multidimensional approach that considers the whole person, including physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects, in promoting overall health and well-being. In this episode, our guest shares her personal journey to holistic healing and how a scientific spiritual approach can provide a comprehensive path to health and well-being. The scientific spiritual approach draws on various spiritual traditions, such as mindfulness, meditation, and yoga, as well as scientific research in fields such as psychology, neuroscience, and medicine. It emphasizes the importance of self-awareness, self-care, and personal growth in promoting health and well-being, and encourages individuals to take an active role in their own healing process. Meet Shima Shad Rouh, a visionary entrepreneur, best-selling author, business and life empowerment coach, motivational speaker, certified relationship coach, Akashic Records channeler, heart intelligence facilitator, and trauma therapist. With over 2 decades of experience, Shima has dedicated her life to helping individuals overcome limiting beliefs, heal past traumas, and unlock their full potential. As the founder and CEO of Infinite Love Coaching Academy and Holistic Health Resort, Shima offers a holistic approach to health and well-being, combining physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual healing techniques. Her passion for empowering individuals to achieve their personal and professional goals is evident in her work and the countless lives she has transformed. Shima's best-selling book, Infinite Love, is a testament to her dedication to spreading love and light in the world. In the book, she shares her unique scientific spiritual approach to achieving better health, relationships, and finances. In addition to her professional accomplishments, Shima is a sought-after speaker, inspiring audiences with her powerful message of infinite love and limitless possibilities. Her expertise in the field of trauma therapy has helped countless individuals to heal from past traumas and move forward with a newfound resilience and strength. Here is my interview with Shima Shad Rouh. Hi, Shima. It's so great to have you on the podcast today. I've been looking forward to getting to chat with you because your personal story is so profound, and it is an honor to have you share it today. And we will be talking about from war-torn childhood to healing the world, Shima's journey to holistic healing. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Petra. Thank you so much for inviting me here, and I'm honored to be here today with you and sharing my learning and experiences with you and with our beautiful audience.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here today, Shima. And for starters, do you want to share a little bit about yourself and how you became first interested in holistic healing?
Thank you. Yes, sure. I was born during the war between Iran and Iraq. So my very first childhood memories during the first 6 years of my experience was conflict, terror, horror, and attack and bombs. So I didn't know how to deal with all these conflicts that I came and confronted in life with, especially in Tehran, the city I was born in. After the revolution in Iran, we were having a lot of pressure, a lot of also social pressure, political pressure. And at our school, very restricted Islamic education were implied. That made me question everything in life. I started to ask a very deep question about who am I? What is my relationship with the world around me? Why did I come to this world of conflict really at early age in my life? And that made me embark on a long journey of self-discovery, studying many years theology, psychology, mythology, spirituality, and over 20 years quantum physics, and understanding, finding solution for my understanding in science and spirituality.
Wow, and thank you so much for sharing your journey, Shima, and what a journey that has been for you. And I know that life for you hasn't always been easy and just a highlights reel. So do you want to share a little bit about what happened after your time in Iran and how that story continued and how you dove deeper into this holistic approach and the scientific spiritual approach that you were looking at?
My journey of coming across a holistic approach came to the realization with my experience of confronting cancer that my Spanish business partner, who was like a true father to me, has been diagnosed with cancer. They gave him 3 months to live and they couldn't apply any more chemotherapy on him. He lost one of the kidneys. I couldn't just accept that I'm losing him. So I started to dive deep into understanding how our bodies function and understanding the methodologies that I can help him. The book of Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, really opened my mind and opened my eyes to the holistic approach to health and underlying reasons of incurable disease. So she shared a list of emotional causes to every disease. And to cancer specifically, holding resentment and grudge cause cancer, according to Louise Hay. And I watched also tons of interviews of people who healed their cancer at stage 4 with holistic approach and true alternative healing. So I came up with a protocol based on my research for Salvador, and he applied this protocol 6 months after he was cancer-free. I began to help more people and share this information with as many as possible in so many different incurable diseases, and all of them got great results despite my success in helping people with incurable disease. I was helpless when it came to my own mom. In 2016, I confronted the biggest shock of my life. They called me that my mom is in coma. Doctors discovered a tumor in her brain, and my family didn't want to make me worried. They sent her on the biopsy, and as a result, she went into the coma. I got myself to her bed in Tehran, applied quantum healing methodology that I already learned by then, and she came out of coma. I started to share my experience with holistic healing with my family and the success stories that I had, and they showed great resistance. They obviously wanted the best for my mother. I don't blame them, but they did not know anything about how our body functions and how can we change our physical well-being by changing the energetic state, the mental state, and the emotional state, and also the nutrition that is playing a great role in our bodies. As a result, my mom underwent 6 brain surgery in only 1.5 years and 2 months of radiotherapy, which ultimately led to her death. And this experience was extremely painful and sparked the fire in me to embark on a journey to share this experience with as many as possible, and started a project of a holistic health resort and Infinite Love Coaching Academy.
Thank you so much for sharing this really difficult part of your journey with us, Shima. And in addition to founding the Coaching Academy and the Holistic Health Resort, you also wrote a book in which you detail your journey and the things that you have learned along the way. Do you want to share with our listeners what the title of your book is?
Sure, the book is called Infinite Love: My Journey to Better Health, Relationship, and Finances, Applying Scientific Spiritual Approach.
Amazing. And in the book, you do talk about your personal experiences. And what do you think about thought and emotion and how that ties into holistic healing? Because you just touched on cancer and holding grudges and that. So, what kind of role do thought and emotion play in our health?
A very good question. Basically, every emotion is followed by a thought, right? So often the emotion, whatever is the emotional response in our body, is followed by a thought, and we are always in control of our thoughts. Let me explain this in a better way. When we have a thought in our mind, that thought is creating a chemical response in our body. And that chemical response in the body is influencing our health. For instance, if I have a thought of lack, or if I have a thought of not being loved, or not being beautiful enough, or being too fat, or being too slim, or not having enough to make it to the end of the month, or all these thoughts are creating anxiety in my body. The chemical response to this thought is often cortisol or stress hormones such as adrenaline that put my body on fight or flight mode. My body is taking this thought as the reality, but that is only a thought. And I am always in charge in changing that thought, right? That can be the thought of not having enough is only a thought that can be changed, and I'm in power of that. But once I'm on a fight and flight mode on a wrong line, and this thought is going on and repeating itself in my mind, as every human being has between 12,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day, and 85% are unfortunately negative, and 90% are repetitive. So when I have this thought and is repeating itself constantly in my body 80,000 times throughout my day, it creating that chemical response, which is the cortisol, adrenaline, all those hormones that are influencing directly the pH of my body. When the pH goes out of balance, whether it goes too acid or goes too alkaline, every type of disease can form in my body. We have scientific studies showing that, for instance, when you put cancer cell in an alkaline ambient, the cancer cell can't grow. Naturally, it will disappear itself. You don't need any radiation or any type of treatments or any surgery for the cancer cell. Just change the ambient. So changing that ambient is possible through nutrition. And the most important part is the thought, because once I change my nutrition, I'm changing the ambient. But if I'm having that 80,000 negative thoughts and repetitive thoughts of whatever fear-based thoughts are, the ambient will go back again on to acid. That makes my body to be prone to more disease. So it's very important to understand how the thought can create disease in our bodies, and knowing that you are always in control to change that thought and take action to change it and create a better health in your body.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that. That is so interesting. And sometimes we might be feeling ill or dealing with disease, and we're not really sure how healing will come about. But you also have some personal experience about spontaneous healing. So, do you want to share a little bit about that with our listeners?
Sure, thank you for this question. You know, many times we are having this connection with the unseen and we forget about it. We forget about how divinely we are protected and we are guided. So this came more clear to me when I would like to share before getting to the spontaneous healing, to me to remember my spontaneous healing experiences was one specific event that happened when my mom was dealing with cancer, and I was not able to help her because despite all my success in helping other people with incurable disease, my family was showing great resistance to the holistic health approach.
Mhm.
So I remember one day I was very disappointed. I couldn't contact her, I couldn't talk to her, and I was very, very sad. I've seen this great resistance shown from my family. I decided to end this life because I was in a moment of despair that there was nothing else could keep me happy, could keep me going in life. And in that very moment, I have decided to take a lot of medicine to end my life. When this happened, I wrote my goodbye letter, which up to today I kept them because it's a good reminder to never enter that realm again. And as I was crying and curling in pain in bed, in my all sorrows and all pain that I was going through, in that moment, I felt two literal arms are holding me. So it was not an experience of sometimes you say, okay, I had this feeling of something warm or something nice around me or a calmness in my heart. No, it was two literal arms holding me very tight. And a voice whispered in my ears, everything's going to be okay, my love. You're going to be okay. This moment was very profound for me to develop this connection to the unseen and create faith in my life. That was a moment I realized, what did I do to my life? How I was so hopeless that I forget about the spontaneous healing experiences I had. I forget about all the miraculous experiences I had in the past, all the angelic beings that helped me throughout my life. Growing up during the war and witnessing the terror, being under the bomb, it is a miracle to be still alive. It is a miracle to be still there and be healthy. And I forget about all this. How could I even enter this realm of despair? So I remember that moment, I started to take note of what happened in my life. And that brought light to this spontaneous healing experience that I shared in the book. When I was 19 years old, I had a car accident and my shoulder was dislocated, my jaw was dislocated, and the sigma bone under my eye was broken. So I remember that day we went to the hospital with my mom and they scanned my body. And this is the medical report, which I kept until today. And that shows with the time exactly and under all the photos and everything is coming time and date that all these three locations need to be attended and fixed. They said, so the doctor, the specialist is coming in 2 hours. You can whether stay here or if your home is near, you can go and rest and come back at 4 p.m. And my mom said, let's go home and I make you something to eat and relax. And we come back because the hospital was only 5 minutes from my parents. So we went home and I remember I took very heavy painkillers and I went and lay down in bed and closed my eyes in a very quick moment. I don't know, it was maybe only 10 minutes that experience that I fall into sleep. And I have seen a hand. The only thing I've seen, it was a hand with a green sleeve around it. That's the only thing I've seen. My internal feeling was as if this is the hand of my grandmother who passed away. And this beautiful hand come over my jaw and I felt really warm around my jaw, a warm energy around my jaw muscles, and then go over my sigma, over my cheek, and then it goes over my shoulder. And then I woke up. The feeling was really good. I didn't have any more pain. And I woke up and I was running to the kitchen to tell to my mom that, oh my God, I had a dream. I think it was my grandma. And I felt really good. I did not know that I was completely healed. I ran to the kitchen and my mom asked me, what happened to your shoulder? Did you do it yourself again? So she knew that whatever happened to my body, I go and fix it myself as I had this from my childhood. And I said, what? I turned to a mirror which was located at the entrance of the kitchen. And I looked at the mirror and my shoulder was perfectly fixed and it was no pain. I could lift my hand and there was no pain at all. I said, what? Wow, no, that's not possible. And then she said, what about your jaw? And I was talking really, moving my jaw freely, and I could not believe. I said, Grandma healed me. It was a hand, and this happened. And she says, okay, so you better not get too excited because we don't know yet about the sigma bone under your eye. And the doctor really scared me when I went at hospital because of that crack. They said that something really can go wrong if you laugh or if you use your face muscles. So let's go back to hospital. We come back to hospital. When we enter the gate, the receptionist look at me and she says, where did you go to fix your shoulder so fast? And I didn't know really what to answer to her. I thought maybe she would, by then I was into my scientific mind. I could not give an explanation to that. So I just ignored the question. And she said, how about your jaw muscle? So they wrote me again another scan and they scanned everything in the body. They took some, I remember only from the sigma, they took 17 pictures to make sure that the crack is not there. And they could not believe the reports and the time. So it's 2 p.m., 4 p.m., everything is fixed and back on track. So when I had this angelic being experience in the moment of my despair, it brought light to my spontaneous healing experiences, which was not only one, there were several that I shared in the book. This was one of those, and made me understand there is a bigger power over us. This bigger power is loving. It is an infinite love experience. That it's in the tissue and it's in the energy that connect us all together. And the way to tap to this infinite love is through your heart chakra, is through your heart portal. Once you open your heart, once you open the barriers we have created between ourselves and this beautiful loving being, this beautiful loving intelligence around us, we can tap into our healing power. We can tap into our true potentials and create an empowered life.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I'm very sorry to hear about your experiences early on and that you did not want to live anymore. And I'm sure that there are listeners listening to this episode who can definitely identify with that as well. And I'm very glad you're still with us today and you found the power of healing through that and the power of infinite love through all of that. So thank you for sharing that. And it brings me to sort of an interesting point that the connection of knowing who we are and what our purpose is in this life is so important to understanding why we want to be here. And when we lose that connection to our purpose and our meaning, that can have really grave consequences also in our lives and in our reality. So how can we answer these really big questions? These, who am I? Why am I here? And how can I shape my life? How can we answer these questions through this scientific spiritual approach that you have found?
It is a very broad question, needs a lot of answer that has been shared in the book in one specific chapter 3 of the book. But if I want to give a short answer to that, I can't answer the question, who am I, only through scientific approach, because science always have this, a puzzle, a missing piece in it. Whether you go to quantum physics or you believe in mechanical physics or you believe in Big Bang theory, that I went very deep into all of that. Or if I go only to the spiritual part, still, it's a big part of me that I'm denying. So I do need to merge these two together in order to get to that answer. But there is a secret that has been shared by Nikola Tesla and all the great scientists of our century, like Einstein and Max Planck, the father of quantum physics. Nikola Tesla says, if you want to understand the secrets of life, you need to understand the terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. So how can we explain who we are through energy, vibration, frequency? Dr. Wayne Dyer has a very good famous sentence that I love, and he says, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I would love to rephrase this sentence to, we are not human beings having energetic experience, we are energetic beings having human experience. Then we can explain this much better. In quantum physics, everything is built from an atom. And inside an atom, there are electrons, proton, and neutron. When you open an electron, we can study 0.00001% of that electron at our scientific labs today with our science. And 99.999% of that electron has been considered empty by mechanical physics, and by quantum physics we call them photons, but still we don't have enough information about photons. So if you look at our bodies, if we look at our physical body, and if we look at our physical world, our scientific information about everything that exists, it's only 0.0001% of what we can see and experiment at our labs. 99.999% of what we can't experience at our labs is what actually exists. It's what actually is. And that is energy. So that's why we are energetic beings having a human experience. As we are energetic beings, we follow the laws of energy. And one of the laws of energy is that we can change the frequency of something, we can change the physical structure of that. So if I want to create health, for instance, in my body, I need to change the frequency in order to achieve optimal health. That's why frequency therapy is one of the ancient methodology that has been used through Tibetan singing bowls or music therapy and different instruments, and today also through tuning fork and a lot of other advanced treatments. Or photon therapy that we have, for instance, that we go to change the energetic state. Now, if I want to create something in my life, I need to tune in to the frequency of what it is that I want to create, right? So I gave the example of a radio. When you are listening to a radio, what is radio is all about the frequency. All these frequencies or these radio channels are simultaneously around us. We don't see them. We don't listen to them. We are not even aware of them unless we put our radio apparat and we tune into a specific channel. So you tune into channel like to the specific frequency 97.2, you listen, for instance, to music, and you change it to 102.1 and you listen to sport, right? So imagine all versions of you. Your poor version, your wealthy version, your healthy version, your ill version, your happy version, your sad version are simultaneously existing like these radio waves around you. That is what in quantum physics polar universes. All the versions of you exist simultaneously. What you do is tune into that frequency. How do you tune in? Through your heart. So the tuning point is in the center of your heart. Through changing the frequency of your heart, you are changing the frequency of your body. You tune into that desired vibration and listen to that desired channel. So it's very important to ask yourself throughout the day, how do I feel? Because that feeling is a compass showing you at which frequency you are and what kind of reality you are creating. If I'm feeling sad, that shows that I'm into that frequency, the sadness frequency, which has a very low frequency, has a very low vibration. Now, if I want to change that low vibration to a higher vibration of gratitude, I need to go to my heart, create that emotion of gratitude, and raise my vibration. Then I will see the manifestation of gratitude in my life and see manifestation of health or well-being or anything else that I want to create in my life. So it's always through your heart and following the laws of energy and frequency and vibration.
Wow, thank you so much for telling us about that. And what an interesting look at energetic beings. I love that. And Is there anything that we could do or demonstrate for our listeners? Maybe a little technique or visualization or something like that to show them how this works? Like, what should we do?
Absolutely. So let's do an exercise together, a visualization exercise. And okay, so I would like to invite you to take a deep breath and close your eyes. And imagine a version of you that you would like to manifest in your life. Imagine you want to manifest a healthy body, for instance. Imagine your healthy version is standing right in front of you. Pay attention to all the details that this healthy version of you has. To the color of her skin, the vitality in her body, the energy flow. And pay attention to her feelings or his feelings. This version of you that is standing in front of you, what kind of feelings is having the healthier version? You can also do this exercise with whatever other desires that you have to manifest. Maybe is your wealthier version. Maybe is more lovable version. Maybe is a version that is in a happy, fulfilling relationship. So whatever goal is that, bring that version, ideal version of you in front of you. And tuning into the emotion of that version of you. And I want you to take a deep breath. And allow these emotions to come to you. You receive this emotion. The vibration of that version of you. And now have a look at your other version behind you. This is a version that wants to change something. Maybe is feeling stuck emotionally or financially or in a relationship that this version doesn't feel happy. There is something that doesn't flow in the energetic system of that version of you. Something that desires a change. Tuning to the energy of that version of you. Do you feel expansion or do you feel contraction? Do you feel freedom or do you feel being stuck? Now that you have identified these two different versions, I want you to take a deep breath and step forward into your ideal version. As you are going into that ideal body, ideal shape, ideal reality. And allow the feelings of this ideal version of you to fill up your body, your heart, your surrounding. This empowered version of you, the healthy, wealthy, happy version of you. Now, repeat with me, mentally or aloud. I, here put your full name, Shima Shad Rouh, for instance. I, from my divine authority, clean, remove, and eliminate the older version of me and let go of all the patterns that are creating my current situation. I, your name, from my divine authority and my free will, step in to my empowered version here and now at this very moment. And I say goodbye to all the patterns of my old version that doesn't serve me in my journey of empowerment. Take a deep breath. Connect with these words. Allow these words to settle into your body, into your mind. Embrace your new you. Embrace your healthier, wealthier, happier version of you. And see your new you is surrounded by a beautiful bubble of light. And you see your older version is also surrounded in a beautiful bubble of light. Take a deep breath and see how these two circles are separating from each other. And the older version of you goes so far away that you can't see it anymore. It is okay to be empowered. It is okay to be healthy. It is okay to be wealthy. It is okay to be happy. It is okay to be who you want to be. How do you feel in your heart? Take a deep breath. Now you can open your eyes. I would suggest you to do this exercise preferably right when you wake up every morning. There is a window between your subconscious and conscious mind. When you wake up, if you listen to this meditation or you simply do this visualization exercise, create your ideal version that you would like to have today. How your ideal version lived today. What is that day in your life look like from that empowered reality of you? And make this a habit. Every single day when you wake up, create yourself. Instead of being the result of autopilot creation of your brain. Take charge. You are a powerful being. You are always in control, and you have the free will, my dear, to create the life you desire.
Wow, what a powerful, powerful visualization you took us through. And thank you so very much for sharing that with us. And listeners, just remember that you can go back through this episode and you can listen to this visualization in the mornings, as Shima suggested. And I would love to know what kind of changes that brings for you and what kind of differences you feel in your life when you start doing that. I'd be very curious. So thank you for taking us through that. And to close out the episode after this wonderful visualization, do you want to share a little bit about your programs and services that you offer so that listeners can get more of Shima and they can get more of how you work with people if they want to go down that path?
Sure. On my website, shimashadrouh.com, they can find my services. And as I started to develop myself and heal my own life, I have tapped into many different methodology and knowledge. And at that moment, I was not thinking about offering this to others. It was purely intended to help me on my journey. So I entered many different fields. I entered the field of business coaching, relationship coaching, and life coaching. And so I'm offering all this spectrum plus spiritual coaching as I went deeply into my ideology of life and discovery of who am I. And also the therapy sections, which are all holistic approach to therapies, trauma healing, emotion code, body healing, theta healing methodologies. You can find them all on my website. We also organize retreats for couples, conscious parent coaching, and relationship coaching. So there are a lot of information there that you can find on my website. All these services are offered online and also in person at my office in Marbella for who is in Marbella and can come and participate in whether group sessions or individual sessions.
Amazing. And I love that technology makes that possible, that we can now work all across the globe and bring healing to so many people who weren't able to connect before because they had to come in person. So, yeah, thank you for shining your light, talking about these things, putting out your services, and really making such a huge difference in the world and in people's lives. I truly appreciate you. And we will be linking to all of Shima's offerings in the show notes as well, so that you know how you can get in touch with her and check out her programs and services as well. And this has been another incredible episode. And I really hope our listeners have connected with your personal story and enjoyed our conversation around holistic health and scientific spiritual approaches. It has been a privilege chatting with you on the podcast today, Shima. And thank you so very much for your time today.
Thank you so much, my dear Petra, for this honor to invite me to be part of this beautiful creation that you are doing, the light that you're shining over all of us. And thank you, my dear friend who is listening to this podcast. I send you all my blessings, love, and light.
Thank you, Shima. And thank you to the listeners. Love to all of you. And take care of yourselves. Be well.
Blessings.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen in. If you enjoy the Jōrni podcast, please subscribe, share on social media, and leave us a 5-star review. You can find more of the Jōrni on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and the Jōrni blog. Sending you love and courage, and see you next week.